Is RQ going undefeated in Stage 2? You bet. Hello, what is up, YouTube? Welcome. It is a double whammy this week because I was debating whether we wanted to do power rankings before Stage 2 or not. It's not like we got to see the teams in between stages, but some of you kindly told me in chat that you would like to see it. And also, of course, you reminded me that we should still do our Pickems every week. So since we're doing Pickems, figured, all right, why not? You know, we talked about the roster changes in the previous video. Let's see what my expectations are going into Stage 2. And then also, we'll note at the end of the video who we think are going to be the 4 teams that go to Champions Seoul. And then, of course, it's always going to be fun to look back and see if we're correct. So without further ado, let's jump right in. All right, so we're back to the power ranking graphic. Oh boy, am I looking forward to being wrong every week once again. So as a quick reminder, after the end of Stage 1, here is how we ranked our 11 teams in VCT Pacific 2024. Now, if you're wondering, well, does anything change? Well, first of all, GENG won Masters Shanghai, and so that changes a lot of things for sure. But outside of that, again, if you missed it, you can check out our previous video. Tons of roster changes. So how does that change what we think about some of these teams? Okay, so first of all, I think GENG and PaperX being, you know, the larger versions being in the top 3, not going to change too much. Who would I rank in third? All right, so I think contenders would be obviously GRX, although there's some question marks now since it's a much younger squad. It's a much less experienced squad. We don't know what the IGLing is going to look like, etc. Just because of their record in Stage 1, T1, there's an argument there, but I would say RQ with Monette coming in now is a pretty big shout. And Talon, of course. Talon, I think. Okay, so listen, they won Masters Shanghai. It'd be ridiculous if we didn't rate GENG at the top. PaperX, you know, looked disappointing. I think that's just the best way to put it at Shanghai, just because everyone had very high hopes from them, given their performance in Stage 1. But I would argue, I mean, listen, is there a world where I think they actually might just be power ranked third? Sure, but I think it'd be ridiculous, right, to rate someone else that we just haven't seen play at all, to rate them above them. So I think PaperX in second. I'm a little torn because here's the thing. I'm pretty high on the DRX changes. I mean, there's some scary question marks because it's a lot of unknowns, but I'm really excited for the new version of DRX, but I'm also pretty high on them. I mean, listen, Flashback proved that he's got the individual fragging power. The thing that holds me back is not actually like who's IGLing. Is Bane going to be able to hold it down as a primary IGL? If he is, like, etc., etc. The biggest question for me is actually what is Foxy9's role, and is he going to be set up for success? I'm not convinced. The Foxy9 question is so big, but you know what? Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Listen, even if he's switching roles now, hopefully he's gained a little bit more confidence, a little bit more experience all throughout Stage 1, playing that Sentinel role. He played very well on the Sentinel role. So I'll put him there, but listen, I'm going to say with the experience that he gained in Stage 1, Foxy9, he's not going to be as shaky as he was last year. So I'm going to give him whatever role it is. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, next up, the discussion is going to be between these 3 teams. I'm sorry, Team Secret, you are no longer part of this conversation because, quite frankly, I just have no idea what to expect from you with the new roster. Listen, I'm mega high on Monette returning to RQ. Like, I am giga high. I'm giga high on Monette returning. I'm so high on Monette returning to RQ. I'm so high on RQ returning, but like, chat, I don't know. I really liked what I saw from Talon in the later half, the second half of Stage 1. The thing is I actually think their 6-man rotation was good as well. Lenny was pretty key. I don't think Lenny was a problem, but no matter what the reasons are, they trimmed down to 5. But I think whether it was keeping Lenny or not, I think this version's fine. Like, first of all, I think Surf's lurking is actually really good, and I think it's gonna get better. And overall, the prep that they do is good. Band's been getting comfy. Oh, man. I'm so high on Talon. But you know what? I haven't tuned in to Spike Talk recently. So maybe I'm missing some context here. I do have to catch up on our good old friend Frost here before the first matches. Oh, but the neon. Chat, I think you might have just saved my power rankings. The neon buffs. The neon buffs. And this also lets me feel a little safe about not going too crazy about RRQ. You know? It does make me feel a little safe about not going too crazy about RRQ. You know what feels bad though? Actually, no, it doesn't feel bad, because you know what? They're running a 6-man rotation. I don't think it's the best of both worlds here for T1 picking up Stacks. I know a lot of people are excited for it. I'm excited that we can still see Stacks. I'm excited to see Stacks in a different environment. I just don't think this is the solution. You're right, Monette plays Neon as well, but guess what? It's been a little while since we've seen him. But it does feel bad. The thing is I've just been burned by RQ too many times. You know what I mean? But let it be known that my Hopium is at an all-time high for RQ. All-time high. All-time high. Can you imagine the guy with the craziest Hopium for RQ has an all-time high record of Hopium for RQ? But Talon, I'm working with things I've already seen. So, listen, T1, I actually don't think T1 should be in 6th. I think I don't think they should be in 6th, but I think if it wasn't relativity, I think I would put them at 5th. But listen, Talon, but what I saw was very promising, and I'm hoping that it continues in an upwards direction. RRQ, what I'm hearing, right? What we're seeing in the roster, super promising. And T1, I mean, they did not perform at Shanghai, and then they're adding in Stacks, and they're claiming that they're going to try a 6-man rotation. And T1, it's kind of similar to DRX's. The bigger question for me is, okay, I missed the 6-man rotation. What's Izu's role here? Right? What's Izu's role? And, you know, for instance, if Stacks is playing Flash Initiator, does that enable Saya more? Or is there going to be a little bit of, you know, tempo mismatch? So T1, I'm low on T1. I can't imagine that they're going to come out swinging. I just can't. Now, let's see. So teams that have had some changes. GE, Benkai is now the primary IGL. Bleed, Crazy Guy is back. Team Secret has some roster changes. Honestly, I don't know how to read the Team Secret roster changes, but quite frankly, the core linchpin of Jesse Vash, Envy, and Jeremy is still there. I really think 2G, I'm happy that 2G is getting to play on a starting 5, because I really think he deserved at least a chance to try to prove himself on a regular basis. So we'll put him up there. You know, at 7th, I think that's a very safe spot. I think that's a very safe spot to put Secret. Although the coaching change, we'll see. I'm not saying that Dummy's like a downgrade or anything. It's just that is a big change. Yeah, losing Warbirds is tough. To be fair, you have to wonder, like, the what if Warbirds got more support rather than being replaced, but it is what it is. You know, I'm gonna miss him. But I think, listen, the thing is like the baseline calling of Jesse Vash and, you know, the firepower of Envy and Jeremy, I think will be enough to still keep them just very reliably in the middle. I think very reliably in the middle. The real question becomes, can Dummy do anything with this? The new coach, like, what can he do with it? Because whether he likes it or not, he's gonna be compared directly to Warbirds. And I think Warbird's impact, a lot of people agree, was very positive. So whether it had a ceiling or not. So we shall see. Man, at that point... Actually, does ZETA clear C? No. Not from what we've seen. Hopefully they've been cooking, though. Hopefully they've been cooking. Actually, you know what? Assuming they have been cooking, this might be the time for me to give some inkling of hope back to ZETA. Because if I'm relying on the core of Secret to keep them at 7th, then technically Laz, Depp, and Sugar Zero should keep them at 7th. It's another question, right? It's a lot of these rookies. The questions, it's starting to come down to a lot of these rookies I'm finding out, is because it's about Hiraron. Can you put him in a comfy position? You know what? I do think Team Secret should be ranked 7th here. I don't feel good about putting Secret in 8th, but I'm going to put ZETA up there. I'm gonna assume that they've been cooking. Meanwhile, unfortunately, I'm very excited for the IGL change in GE. I think this should enable them a lot more. I think they are going to show us some fun games in Stage 2. But in relativity, I think it's still a bit of a leap to try to get through the pure like clutch and firepower of some of these other players and teams. At which point, you know, this doesn't really change. I think Bleed's going to look better too. I think Bleed, I mean, they have to, but I think Bleed's going to look better. They've got a guy who was IGLing them before. Again, it's not like his IGLing was, you know, something that was very apparent and like tangible, but I thought it was reliable enough. And DFM, I mean, hopefully they've been cooking, but it's back to Hopium again for them. So if we're talking teams that I think are maybe not rightfully in the rank that they're in, I would say GE is one. I would argue, I mean, and then I would say like these three are question marks. Like they could shuffle. Like this is probably a grouping, but I think GE could definitely make upsets. But I guess that's the crux of it, is that we're calling it upsets. So I think it's fair to rank them at 9th, but I think they could upset a decent amount in Stage 2. I'm looking forward to GE because I liked the pieces we saw from them, and Russ and Lightning Fast were fragging, and Polvi was starting to find his footing again towards the end. Who do we think are the 4 teams that will make it to Champions Seoul? Let's start with the easy ones. I think GENG and PaperX are definitely making it to Champions Seoul, whether it's through the points, whether it's through the playoffs, whatever it is. And as a quick reminder, it's the top 3 teams at the end of playoffs of Stage 2. Those get a direct qualification, and then out of the remaining teams, whoever has the highest championship points makes it to Champions Seoul. Now, outside of that, does DRX finally come back to the international stage? Because my heart wants to say Talon and RQ, but I'm so excited for the new DRX. Surely, I mean, DRX also have a decent amount of points because they got, you know, 5 straight in the groups. They're leading in points after GENG and PaperX. So, you know what? It's not going to be too spicy, but you got to give it to DRX. The spicy take would be Talon and RQ for me, but DRX makes it, and guess what? I know everyone wants to see Stacks back at the international stage, but boy, oh boy, is my Hopium at an all-time high. RQ making their international debut. Oh boy, here we go. It's happening, chat. Oh baby. RQ is making it. RQ is going to make it. RQ is going to make it to Champions Seoul. Those are my 4 teams that I predict to make it to Champions. Okay, so like we did in Stage 1, we'll go ahead and do the Pickems for all the matches, and then we'll come back and edit them week to week and see where we, you know, change our mind. For the opening week, ZETA versus DRX. Sorry, ZETA. This is a no-brainer, even with the roster changes. I think DRX... Well, I actually think this might go a 2-1, actually. I think ZETA might come out swinging, but I think DRX should still be favored. Yes. Team Secret versus Bleed. I think Secret still clears. T1 versus GENG. I'm going to get back to this one. PaperX versus Talon. You know what? No, let's just do both of these. I actually think T1's going to win here. As much as I am not as high as a lot of people are on T1 with stacks being added, I think T1's going to win. And here's why. T1 had a little bit more time to cook. Sure, they're working things out with stacks and the 6-man rotation, but they need these wins. Meanwhile, GENG is not as desperate. I'm not saying they're not going to try, but first of all, they wouldn't have had time to cook up anything crazy new. Second of all, they were pretty slow starting in stage 1 as well. Like, they are going to build up to win when it matters. So while GENG is the reigning champs, and I think they're going to make it to Champions Seoul, I think T1 is going to, like, literally give it their all against GENG. And also T1's mindset is probably like, hey, you know, we're going to get the patches, the map pool is going to change, etc. So, like, let's throw everything we've got at GENG. Whereas GENG, I think, will play their best, but they'll work with what they have. So I think T1's actually going to win this one. It's going to be an upset, but I think T1's going to win. PaperX and Talon could be a similar argument. Let's give it to Talon. I mean, listen, Talon beating them in the playoffs of stage 1 was not out of the question. So I'm going to give it to Talon. Then we move on to RQ DFM, RQ for sure, and Team Secret versus GE. Ooh, Team Secret has to play the double whammy this time. Oof. I really do. I think GE can win. I think GE can win. I think it would be considered an upset for a lot of people. I think I would consider it an upset on paper just because of the career so far of both teams in Pacific. But I think GE can win. Let's lock that in. All right. The other weeks. All right. Week 2. All right. Now, take these with a grain of salt because we're doing these before we see them actually play. Talon versus RQ. I think it's going to be a tight one, but guess what, baby? RQ Hopium at an all-time high. Oh, actually, no. I just realized RQ's playing double whammies against DRX. Talon's going to win this one. PaperX versus DRX. I think PaperX wins this one. GE versus Bleed. I think GE wins this one. Oh, week 2 will be with Haven and the new patch. Yes. You're correct. That's true. This will be with Haven and the new patch. Give me back my RQ. Give me back my... Well, PaperX will probably just ban Haven, though. Oh, man. No, I think RQ... No. RQ's going to win. GE will beat Bleed. Sorry, DFM. ZETA's going to beat DFM. RQ, baby! And then Team... Team Secret versus T1? Team Secret, actually. All right. As far as I know, Abyss is not coming in until playoffs for Pacific. So, these are the only changes that we'll have in like the map pool, etc. for the league play, starting week 2. So, Talon Esports are... Oh, man, feels bad. You know what? I think there's a world where DFM starts coming out swinging, and this is the upset they make this time. So I'm just gonna leave this here to see if we can get a little bit of a bonus here. RQ, dude, win streak for RQ. Let's go. We gotta send them to champions one way or another. Unfortunately, I think T1 will still beat GE. Is GENG not playing a match in week 2? Oh no, we just have 2 double whammies. What is going on? Wow. PaperX DFM, PaperX TRX Talon. No, let's go with DRX. I'm pretty high on this new DRX, man. It's good to be able to cheer for DRX again. Now we've got last week of the league play. Paper X RQ baby. Let's go. GENG still beats GE. DRX still beats DFM. I think Talon beats ZETA. I think GENG beats Secret. Actually, well, this is actually one that I think Secret could upset. But GENG's too strong. Paper X versus ZETA. Dude, I feel like, man, dude, ZETA having to... Dude, playing in their own group changes the dynamic a lot from stage 1. I'm finding it hard to throw ZETA Division a bone here. I mean, I guess the one bone you would throw them if you're a fan of ZETA would be the RQ match, but RQ just looks way too... The roster just looks way better on paper right now. Is RQ going undefeated in stage 2? You bet. You bet. All right. Now, again, week 2 through 4... Take it with a grain of salt because we haven't seen them yet. But week 1, these are my Pickems for week 1, everybody. Bit of an upset mania here with T1 beating GENG, Talon beating Paper X. That is my call. I guess GE beating Secret is a bit of an upset as well. But I think we could see some upsets. I hope so. That'd be fun. I think that'd be exciting. But that is going to be my Pickem for the first week of stage 2 on our road to see who makes it to Champions Seoul. And that's going to be it for our quick little preview of Stage 2 for VCT Pacific. Obviously, every weekend, Saturdays, Sundays, Mondays, sometimes Fridays, towards the later part. So just make sure you're keeping tabs on social media or you're checking out the official site, the official homepage to check all the schedules. But same time, same place, 5 p.m. KST for match start. We're still at the COEX Stadium. So if you're ever in Seoul, try to grab a ticket. Try to find us here for VCT Pacific. And of course, let me know down in the comments below, who do you think is going to make it to Champions Seoul? The 4 teams, who's going to clinch, especially that 3rd and 4th slot? Would be curious to see what you think might be some of the upsets that we're going to see. That's going to be it for me. Once again, double whammy this week here on YouTube. If you're enjoying the videos, please, please, please consider subscribing and leaving a like and a comment. All of that helps the channel a lot. And in the meantime, I will catch you all on the main broadcast for VCT Pacific. See you then.